Hello, I'm Tiffany and welcome to the Raw Report. The day before Idaho activated crisis standards of care statewide, St. Luke's health system made a request for that last resort declaration. It had no other choice. The state's Crisis Standards Activation Committee was called to meet on Wednesday, September 15th to consider the request. St. Luke's CEO Chris Roth presented to the committee, and that day St. Luke's had a record of 281 COVID-19 patients in its hospitals, occupying more than half of its 475 staffed adult hospital beds. The hospital system had already opened 93 beds in overflow areas. It ran out of physical beds and would be treating patients on stretchers until the additional beds they have ordered arrive, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare's declaration said. St. Luke's told the state's Crisis Standard Committee that 58 of its 71 ICU patients had COVID-19, that it was starting to use pediatric ventilators for adult patients, and that it had to cancel surgeries such as removal of low-risk cancers, fractures with pain, and hernia repairs, the declaration said. Even then, St. Luke's couldn't keep up with the influx of patients, and its projections for the coming weeks were dire, reaching a point where it would have to choose between patients. Roth talked with The Sun in a video interview on Friday, the day after crisis standards were activated statewide. He talked about the health system's vaccine requirement, the disinformation that fuels the surge of COVID-19, and more. Roth said that the hospital had hired nearly 300 people this last Monday, another 100 next Monday, and another 100 the Monday after. When asked what he thinks it's going to take for more Idahoans to take the risk of COVID-19 seriously, Roth stated, "What we're seeing in our community and our society is that too many are putting the individual before the community. I think one of two things is going to happen. The suffering is going to have to get more personal and closer to individuals, which is the worst case scenario. Or, I was talking with Idaho House Speaker Scott Bedke last week, and he toured our ICU. And after that, he said he was able to convince, I think he said 5 people to get vaccinated, which is awesome. It's incredible. So the other opportunity we have is that individual communications to convince the people who are hesitant or skeptical for whatever reason to get vaccinated." End quote. When Roth was asked how the employees at the hospitals are doing with the move to crisis standards and possibly having to make life or death choices for patients, Roth added, "We're deeply concerned about our frontline caregivers, and they are just going through hell every day. And then they go out to the community and it's business as usual. Rodeos, fairs, football games, debates in the school boards. I made the mistake a couple of weeks ago of listening to all 6.5 hours of the West Ottawa School District's school board meeting, and 2 St. Luke's chief physicians were kind of sharing a perspective, and they literally got laughed at by some of the audience when they were talking about what's going on in the hospitals. It's like we're seeing the de-evolution of humanity right in front of our eyes." To check out the full interview, please visit rawstory.com. And thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see more of the Raw Report, please be sure to like and subscribe and join others who like their news raw too.